Let's bring in Representative Guy Reschenthaler. Sir, great to have you on.
Liz, thanks for having me on.
So Governor Cuomo says New York and also other states, East Coast states, they're going to extend the shutdown of non-essential businesses to May 15th. We're now seeing basically a rollout back to normality that the president will recommend. What do you think of what's coming up with this plan that the president will recommend?
Well, I think that what we need to do is we need to take a nuanced approach. I think in Pennsylvania, we've gone too far. The governor has even shut down construction, even online car sales. That's too much. We need to make sure that we're not hurting the economy unnecessarily while we're still protecting public health. So, for example, we should let local counties make the decision, even local municipalities, and see where the population is most dense, where it's more rural, and really come at this with a nuanced, balanced approach rather than just painting with a very broad brushstroke.
Yeah, here's what the president is saying. Governors, you're going to call your own shots. You can start reopening before May 1st. We're going to give you data on a county by county basis when it comes to the outbreak of COVID-19 on a county basis. He's also basically going to say that, the onus is on you. The buck stops with you, governors, to choose to reopen. We know now that half of U.S. cities are facing layoffs of their own city workers. That means cops and firemen. No federal government worker has been laid off to date. We're now seeing basically Nancy Pelosi just talking about now she will not come back to Washington unless there is an emergency bill that she needs to pass. Congress won't come back in. The House won't come back in until May 4th. Your reaction to Democrats, not in Congress working as people are getting laid off around the country, federal workers not getting laid off. Also, the Democrats are saying, seize this opportunity to reshape American society. You're seeing Nancy Pelosi say that, Joe Biden, Governor Gavin Newsom. You're seeing Chuck Schumer say that.
Well, the Democrats certainly will not let any crisis go to waste. And we know that Clyburn has said so much where he wants to actually reshape the United States using this pandemic as an excuse to do it. That is shameful. It's also shameful that we as leaders are not in D.C. leading. We were elected to make sure we were passing laws to help the American people. We should be there negotiating right now. We've got all these task force, and that's fine. But the most powerful task force that we have is the U.S. Congress, and we should be there with the Senate in D.C., making sure we're getting relief to the American people.
But the American people see this, and critics are saying it is an outrage and a disgrace that they're not coming back to work until May 4th, while, American people are seeing massive layoffs. 22 million jobs have been lost in just the last 4 weeks. That's about the amount of jobs that were created since 2010. We're here seeing 21 cities facing budget shortfalls. And we know that business leaders like Larry Fink and Jeff Bezos is warning companies won't reopen without nationwide testing. Amazon is moving to test all of its workers. We're also seeing problems with FDA. Just the FDA has approved a certain number of tests, but some tests are going out that are not FDA approved. That could give people a false sense of security, and then maybe the test results may come up wrong. And there's talk about that. There's talk about having to now carry around a digital immunity passport certificate on your phone in order to get on a plane or to get on a bus or a train. So there's a lot of stuff that the American people are seeing while the House is still not at work.
Right. And the other thing that I think they're seeing is that the Democrats are throwing up roadblocks. The Senate was ready to pass a $250 billion appropriation to the Paycheck Protection Program, which ran out of money today. But the Democrats in the Senate blocked it because they wanted to pass a dream list of their priorities along with that money. They should be there. They should pass the $250 billion to make sure small businesses get the money they need to weather this pandemic. And again, the House should be there negotiating and working for the American people. And the fact they're putting politics and political games ahead of the health of not only Americans, but the American economy should not be forgotten.
Yeah, and the other issue, too, is that we have a humanitarian crisis around the world. We're on the cusp of an emerging debt market crisis as developing countries, 100 of them, reach out to the IMF for emergency lending. So there's another big shoe about to drop. and that is, holding China accountable for a potential problem with their laboratories with the SARS-CoV-2 possibly accidentally escaping with maybe a lab worker got infected. That happened in 2004 with SARS-CoV-1, that a worker in Beijing got infected. One person died, at least one person died in that outbreak. So there's an issue here with the safety of labs around the world, sir. Congress has a lot of work to do. Why isn't the House back in? Why are they waiting till May 4th to get back?
They're playing party politics. Nancy Pelosi should have us back in session working for the American people. And to your point on how China mishandled this, I have a resolution that would defund the World Health Organization. And we should be in Congress passing that resolution. If you look at it, China has not been transparent. They should have allowed our scientists and our doctors into Wuhan at the very start of this. Instead, they lied to the world. They lied to the United States. They lied to the World Health Organization, or worse, the World Health Organization just parroted the Chinese Communist Party talking points. But we should be in there now. We should be looking in these labs. We should be looking at these wet markets and wherever else this pandemic may have arisen. But China needs to be transparent. They need to be honest. And the World Health Organization needs to stop being a propaganda wing of the Chinese Communist Party
we
and
have to
actually
leave it
look
there.
out for the
Congressman, we got to break away. We got to leave it there. Here is President Trump. Let's listen to the president.